friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, and today we are going to work on the Barn Star Sampler Quilt Sew Along block number 14. Okay, so number 14 looks something like this. Okay, and let me show you where it's going to go in the quilt. It's gonna go here in the quilt, right here, and right here. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what my block looks like. And since it's a smaller block, I feel like if you are sewing along and you're planning on starting, I started taking risk on the smaller block with the color choices that I have chosen. So that way like if I'm not comfortable with certain colors, I will use it in a smaller block. If it turns out all right, then I'm like, oh great. And if it doesn't, then it's a smaller block. And if you have to not use it, you are not really working that hard on creating or making another block in case it doesn't work out. Let me show you what my block 15 looks like so you can kind of see how I took a risk. See, this is how I took a risk on the color. This is completely like, in your face, right? But it being tulip pink fabric, it doesn't really look that out of place, right? So this color right here is the true color line, and this right here is her spool line. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the one with the sewing machine. And this is also her true color. So the reason why I use this for number 14 was because it pulls from this little safety pin right here. So the color of the safety pin and the like an ocean color kind of like they pull from each other. So that's kind of the reason why I took risk. Hopefully this will encourage you in your sewing room, if you're not comfortable with color, to kind of take chances on the smaller blocks. So that way, if you're not comfortable, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what color, just try it out and see how you like it. And if you like it, then, you know, start taking chances on colors. That's how I started. When I started quilting, I just went to Joann and bought like the quilting book, the magazine, and read it, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I just kind of played with the colors, and that's kind of how I got comfortable. But then that's the only difference was I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I had a passion and I wanted to sew, and I was going to learn and I was going to teach myself no matter what, and that's what I did. And then over time I started kind of playing with the colors, and this is where we are today. So I like colors, and I would take risk on seeing what looks good together. And I have the color wheel circle thing. I don't want to bring it out and say, okay, you have to use this because this is the guide to learning how to use colors. No, because our brains are not wired the same, right? So if you have the color wheel and you are looking at it and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks like a mesh of mess, because that's what it looks like if your color brain is not communicating with the color wheel. So my tip is to kind of see what work together and what looks good without it looking like a mash of color mess. So that way you can kind of like place your colors, see what you like, see what doesn't go. And sometimes you think it doesn't go together, and when you put the blocks together, it looks amazing. So that's kind of how you get used to picking your colors. And it's not, I don't want to say it's simple, but it's something that comes over time. That being said, I'm going to start sewing number 14, and then let's sew. I have completed the half square triangle needed for step number 1. Very easy, simple. I didn't think that I needed to sew this on camera, so I will go on ahead and do the next step that is requiring us to do, which is making the side units. Okay, so I have piece D here, and then we're going to make the elongated pieces going this way and this way. Okay, first thing we're going to do is take our piece E, okay, our square piece E, and put it like so. We're going to pretend as if we're making a flying geese, okay? Okay, and we're going to make 4 of these. Okay, so this part is done. I've done the half flying geese, and the next thing we're going to do is add our piece C, which is the background color. So we need 4. So now I'm just gonna do the elongated, the kind of like a, so we're doing backward flying geese on this one. So all 4 pieces of the side units are done, which is step number 2. So I'm going to put it aside right there. Okay. And the next step is step number 3. And so we're going to take our piece C, which is a square, 4 squares, right? We are going to have it this way. And then we're going to take our half square triangle that I previously made, and we're going to put it this way. You're going to make sure that whatever background fabric that you have chosen is facing up this way, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is piece these together like this. Just make sure that my dark color fabric is going this way, and I'm just gonna sew them together. And that's step number 3. This whole entire block, it's just 4 steps. It's so easy. So I have completed sewing all 4 pieces together. So the flying geese, so the half square triangle and the square all done. So now the next thing we're going to do is just sew this 2 pieces together. This right here, just like that. We're just gonna sew them together, and then we're just gonna piece it, and that's it. And this is done. So now I have all 4 pieces sewn together, and I tell you what, this is like the easiest block to put together. So now what we're doing is just 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So we have a block. We're done. So all we're doing now is just putting this, sewing up like this, and then sewing like that, and that's it. So that's what I'm going to do now, is just put them together, assemble it, and then we're done. So now this is sewn together. All I'm doing is just sewing it this way, and I am going to pin the center of my block. And on this one, I am pressing open only because of the amount of seam that's in this block. The instruction in the book did say to press to the side, but for this one I'm pressing open, and y'all know I don't like to press open, but for the sake of the block I'm pressing open on this one. This is what block number 14 looks like, and the name of this block is called the Pinwheel Star. So I have here all 3 blocks all done. It looks good together. I think they look good together. I want you to be comment down below and let me know if you would you are going to start taking a little bit of color risk, is what I call it. Playing with color. Like, I think quilting is like crayons. So this is the example of playing with colors and seeing what works out. Now, what I did with this one was made one block and see, okay, will it work? I didn't want to take chances of cutting 3 blocks and then see, and then it looked a mess. So it looked okay for me, and it looks fine for me to use with this quilt. So that's why I went on ahead and cut for all 3 blocks that is required for this quilt. I hope that you will kind of play with the color or fabric in your sewing room and then kind of see what works together, and so that way you can kind of go a little bit out of your comfort zone. And when I'm in my sewing room, it's like playing with crayons. My fabrics are like crayons to me. So when I'm in here, I take colors. I might not be sewing, I take colors and I put them together, and I'm like, okay, I can do that next time. And then so when I'm sewing this block, it was an opportunity for me to, you know, use my crayons, right? And then kind of see what works together, and then took this and then kind of like, you know, went for this. Now, some people may not think this go together, but I think it goes. And then by the time I put it in a quilt, it's not gonna even matter because it's a smaller block. It's not gonna be in your face. So I hope that I have inspired you to use your fabric as like crayons and papers and play in your sewing room and see what works for you, and go a little bit out of your comfort zone with your fabric and your colors, and then see how things turn out. I am excited to almost be finished with this quilt. So the next block that I'm going to be sewing is going to be block number 15, and then we will have 5 blocks left. Those are like the fillers, and they're smaller. And after that, I'm going to start assembling the entire quilt, and I will do that, and I will show what my quilt looks like. And at this point, I just realized the other day that all of my blocks are directional because I fuzzy cut the middle, so every block in this quilt are directional. And so I'm gonna have to be on my A game for that. With that being said, I have completed my block number 14, the Pinwheel Star. And don't forget to subscribe down below and like this video. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.